welcome to this episode of What's Happening in Waupaca. I am Joni Kern. Today we have Linda Holtbeck, who is the president of the Food Pantry here in Waupaca. Welcome to our show, Linda.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
This is an exciting thing for me to talk about because the Food Pantry serves about 250 people a month. Or 250 families a month?
About 200 families, 200 plus families a month.
That's neat. Because it means that there are 200 families that have food on their table, that
Absolutely.
It isn't the type of food, or it's more food than they would normally have. So let's start by talking a little bit about the history of the Food Pantry. When did you start? What are you all about?
In 1986, for those that are old enough to remember, there was a movement going on in America called Hands Across America, and it was talking about food insecurity in families. And so there was a group that began Hands Across Waupaca. So in 1986, it began by just collecting some food and working out of the courthouse. We are now in our fifth move. We bought a building over on Churchill Street a few years ago, and for those of you that also remember, it was the Augie's grocery store, and we have been operating out of that for a few years now. But that's how we began, by just a bag of groceries, and now we're really going well.
And when I stopped in there to see you a month or two ago, I mean, you gave me a tour. That is a big building. You have a lot of stuff going on.
It is a big building, but you know, it is allowing us to think out of the box, not just give away a bag of groceries, but we're doing some programming out of it. It allows us to store our donated food and our government food in separate places, and we're able to do a lot more things with it, and it will serve us for many years.
Now, you touched on your mission, which is to reduce food insecurity in Waupaca.
Right.
So define food insecurity for me.
Well, there are a lot of people who are working, but don't have enough means to do everything they want to do. Buy groceries, pay rent, pay medical bills, all those special things come up. And so food insecurity would be, do you know where your next meal is coming from? Do you have enough food in your cupboard? We do some programming with first graders in Waupaca, plus some other school kids, but specifically the first graders. They bring food in and then get a program, and we talk about food insecurity. Do you know that you have a snack waiting for you at home when you get home from school? Or do you need to save that food for supper?
Sure. And food insecurity in Waupaca is not all that rare.
It is not. When we are serving over 200 families a month, you know that there is more food insecurity in this community than we really realize.
And there is a lot of people who are not coming to you asking for the help or getting the help that they deserve.
Absolutely. And you know,
right?
one of the age groups that we really would like to serve more of is the elderly, the senior citizens who really think that they need to do it by themselves. And we are a very friendly group, and we are very happy to help them, and like to spread that word that we are there to help them. And it isn't a feed you every day kind of a program. It is to get you over that hump. That
sure.
You know, you might need us this month, but maybe not next month.
Sure. Now, we're going to talk about how to qualify for your program in a little bit. Where do you get your food from? I mean, is it seconds, and is it all outdated, and is it stale bread? Is that what I get when I come in there?
It is not. It is fresh food. It is all good food, and we check it all. I will tell you that I spent hours checking expiration dates on cans and boxes, but it is all fresh, and we get it from school groups, food drives, businesses, stores. We get day-old bread from Piggly Wiggly and Pick and Save. They're very helpful. Aldi has a program with us that gives us food.
The government.
The government gives us food, and but I will tell you that the proportion of food that we get is greater in the donations that come from the Waupaca area.
And I can drop off food there.
Absolutely.
If I could go to the grocery store and pick up an extra couple of cans of corn or a couple of loaves of bread and drop them off,
and
right?
keep in mind that Easter is coming. An important date in our lives, our families, and if they have a little extra food that they can share with others, that's nice.
Sure. Now, can I bring in refrigerated food?
You can. We have a few refrigerators to use, a couple of them. Best to use the shelf-ready foods.
Okay, and that's important to know.
Yeah.
Now, you do food drives.
We do.
And this is your 25th anniversary of a food drive, so tell us about that.
That's the postal drive that's coming up, and that happens every year. The postal workers put bags in your mailboxes. You can fill them up, put that filled bag on your mailbox the next week, and they will pick it up. That date is May 13th. It's always the second Saturday of May.
Okay.
And they have a goal this year of 10,000 pounds. We almost met it last year, and that lasts us a good time because summer is a slim time for us.
For getting donations?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, there is something else that I can do, and I find this very interesting because many of us have gardens every year.
Yes.
And I don't know about anybody else out there, but I need tomatoes from 2 plants, and I plant 7 because we do. It's we need 10 feet of beans, and we plant 25.
Right.
So we end up with all of these extra vegetables. Mm-hmm. And we try to give them away to other people who have gardens and don't need them either. Mm-hmm. So I can bring those. I can bring tomatoes and peppers and beans and corn, and I can bring all of that to you.
You sure can. You sure can. And we do have farmers in the area that do give us some things. But yes, bring it because it will be used.
Okay. So you have lots of programs that go on. It isn't just about, handing out food to people who need it.
Right.
You have some other programs going on. What are they?
We do. Besides doing tours and programs for children, we have done groups for adult groups. Red Hat ladies came in and we gave them a program and gave them a tour. But we also are doing a series of classes. This is something new for us through a grant for the Community Foundation, a series of 3 classes on slow cookers. And 3 different cooks are coming in to demonstrate and show what they can do with their crock pot. And we've had 1 series of classes, and we will soon be starting a 2nd series of classes, and they've been very successful.
So I can call you and find out about those?
You can. Now it is for our clients. It's not for the general public, but yes, do call us.
But, let's talk about the reason why those classes are so important. We grew up, you and I, on homemade meals. I mean, there wasn't boxed meals when you and I were younger. So everything was home cooked. So when we started to learn how to cook, it was boiling potatoes and making homemade mashed potatoes, and it was roasts in a slow cooker of some sort, and it was homemade soups. Today, there isn't as much knowledge about cooking from scratch. And slow cookers are a fabulous way of cooking a really healthy meal that is very economically feasible for a family and very filling.
Absolutely.
And it's something that's also very healthy.
And takes very little room in wherever you're living, your apartment or wherever.
Yep.
And you can do it all in one spot.
And not a lot of time either.
No.
Because you dump it all in there, you turn the thing on, and we like the slow cooker. My husband does most of the cooking, but we like the slow cooker at our house. We make chili, we make soups, we make roasts. So you dump it all in there and you turn it on and you let it go and it's ready at dinner time.
In conjunction with our classes, we put together a slow cooker cookbook. For all of our volunteers gave us recipes and we put them in a book, and every one of our clients, whether they go to the classes or not, gets a cookbook.
Now, as part of a nonprofit organization that's serving the community, you rely on volunteers
We
to help you make this entire program feasible.
We are all volunteers. Nobody gets paid. It was interesting when the kids were there, somebody asked, well, how much do you think these people get? $1,000? Zero. Everybody's a volunteer, and we have about 100 volunteers, and we are always, always looking for new volunteers. We have snowbirds that are gone in the winter, and so we're losing those precious
Sure.
people. And so there's a variety of things that can be done, unloading the government truck when it comes once a month, helping their clients shop on 3 days a week, 3 mornings a week when we're open, collecting bread from the grocery stores, getting food from Aldi's. So there are really a variety of things that can be done, and all you do have to do is say, I'm available.
And you're not locked in. I'm not locked in as a volunteer to a specific
No.
number of hours a week or a specific number of days, so I can
you have
make
a-
it work with
If you have
my
a couple
schedule.
hours a month, once, twice,
Sure.
every day if you
Sure.
want.
Sure. Now, I want to talk about how a family gets approved, because I do need to meet your criteria.
You do.
So how do I go about doing that?
You come to the food pantry. If you live in the Waupaca School District, you qualify, but you also need to qualify under government financial guidelines.
Okay.
And we have that information at the food pantry.
Okay. Is it really strict? I mean, do I have to be living on the streets before I'm going to get
No.
some help?
It's very generous.
Great.
Yeah.
Super. So you can, and we all have friends that are living on a
Yes.
very limited budget, so this is
Yes.
something we
Yes.
encourage them to do. Now, as a food pantry, you gave me a list of needs.
Yes.
What do you need there?
Okay, I've got my list in front of me.
Yep.
Right now, we are in need of macaroni and cheese, which we feel like we should always have, and we're running out of it.
Sure.
Mac and cheese, soup, crackers, peanut butter, condiments. Think about Easter coming, the things that you might need extras on the table. You might not need ketchup, but ketchup and mustard and those kinds of things that we
Sure.
can always use. Jams and jellies are another thing that we can use. So most anything but those mac and cheese, soup and crackers, peanut butter are always, always, always needed.
And peanut butter is a great way to make an inexpensive lunch for our kids.
Right. It's a
And
protein. It's
It is.
a
and
good snack.
And it's a good fat source, which we
Yep.
all need.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really is. We do need fat in our bellies. So protein isn't a bad lunch if you think
No.
about the junk food that we could be eating. So
Yeah.
pick up that extra jar of peanut butter too. Linda, thank you so much for joining us
You're
today.
welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
It's been a pleasure talking with you, and we'll see you again, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Okay. Thanks for joining us for this episode of What's Happening Waupaca. As a sneak preview, we have Linda coming back talking about another organization.